On.
Oh, hello. Welcome
Hello.
back. Wednesdays, Laser Talk. New
Laser Talk, the first one.
There we go. It's a little better. All right, so new show, new name, new title, and we're back, and it's called Laser Talk.
We went away for a second. But
Are we back? Are we
we're
live?
good.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We have a little problem again. Our friend Neil deGrasse Tyson has canceled on us 3 weeks in a row. Don't know what that's all about, but he's not returning phone calls.
Used to be
and
my
texts.
friend.
I know, we were friends for a while. Now he's on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he's got television shows, and he's real popular. But
Cringe is strong.
we'll see if we can get him next week, talk a little science. We'll see what happens. Here we can do. For this week, though, Walker is going to visit and talk about one of our relics, one thing that we don't touch on a whole lot, and we have a lot of people asking a lot of questions on, and that's Retina Engrave 1. So we're going to walk you through, if you have a 5th gen or a hobby or older hobby
Pro.
series, old Pro series. Actually, any Pro that we've sold up until today uses RE1 still.
Yep.
Yeah, so anyone using RE1 will have that going on. And then we'll do a little bit of a rundown of how that works with the Pro series.
Yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll start talking about our project, the dirigible, the Pirate airship.
Absolutely.
My favorite, and it's huge.
It's enormous, right? We made that for the San Diego Maker Faire, right?
Yeah, the Maker Faire, and all the little kids loved breaking it.
It was great. It's so touchable. You just want to touch all the parts on it.
Yeah, all the little pieces that can break
they
because
do.
of them.
Yeah. Then we'll also announce our weekly contest winner somewhere between there and go over a few of the specials we have going on. So why don't we dive into looking at RA1?
Yeah, I know that you hate me saying this every time, but I have a 48 at home, and I use RE1 all the time.
He loves it.
I'm a huge fan of RE1, and we don't talk about it that much because of the new software and the new fancy machines with cameras and whatnot, but it gets the job done.
Yeah, it's rock solid. I mean, we used RE1. It's
A long time.
Long time, and it was the standard for what, 4 years?
Yeah, and it's gonna be the most, it has very little issues at all because it's been updated so many times.
Absolutely.
We've been working on it the longest.
There's actually a couple little bugs that we're actually still currently working on. There should be a 4.421 release of RE1 here really shortly. It'll fix a couple bugs with rotary issues and a few file loading issues as well.
Yeah, if you don't do weird things, it's pretty solid though.
Absolutely. These are just, they'll clear up a few obscure things, a few anomalies that come in just when people do larger objects or they try to engrave past the Z length of when they do their rotary attachment. Or sorry, not Z length, but it'd be the X length.
Yeah.
But X or Y?
It's a Y.
Y-axis. There you go.
Yeah.
That's why Walker's here. He's the expert.
Y.
All right, so if you want, why don't we do a screen grab on your RE2?
We'll dive into RE1 right now. So I don't have it up. I'm just going to pop it up, and we're going to go through the whole process.
All right, great. So you have that design there. That looks like that's what Brooke made for our full spectrum T-shirt.
Yes, it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. So you're just gonna bring that into RE1 and then do some settings.
Yeah. I'm going to do that. I'm going to also show drag and drop of the JPEGs.
Oh, nice.
So brings up.
So you can see full spectrum. When they did RE1, it lives on your PC. It's only for Windows-based. Was it?
I was going to say picture in picture.
Oh yeah, let's go picture in picture with us so they can see what beautiful faces are talking to them. Appreciate that, Charles. So RE1 lives on your PC, and that's the big difference between RE1 and RE2, right?
Yeah, so it's an actual software that you download onto your computer. And one of the downsides is that you do have to have a Windows computer.
Yeah.
Now, around that, if you design in Mac, you can run Parallels and run the Windows, and that's a workaround, but that's why we created the browser-based software, so you don't have to do that workaround. So, as you see, this is your IP addresses. They're going to pop up. You're going to select which one it is. If it doesn't automatically connect, you're going to see this in the lower left-hand corner. Your IP address is going to pop up. The best connection with the old Pros is a Ethernet to Ethernet. So.
And you can connect it direct to your machine, right? So Ethernet out of the side of the machine directly into your PC.
Yes, that's going to be your most solid connection. So that will be in the lower left-hand corner, and it's going to have a circle that spins showing that it's connected. Now you always want to double check in this upper left-hand corner which machine you have selected.
Now so the profile of the machine is correct, is that right?
Yeah, so your profile's right, so you're not going to have weird scaling issues.
As you can see, this shows all of our old profiles, even in our old 4th gen lasers.
Yeah. the oldest of the laser generations.
I actually just saw us put a couple of old 4th gen bodies into the dumpster as I was coming in from lunch. It's a little sad.
Yeah, that's like throwing away a tank.
Yeah, it really, I mean, they lasted that long. I mean, our 48, that's been out in the shop now for almost 3 years, and I mean, we cut on that every day.
Yeah.
These things really are tanks.
Before that, I bought the other one. So I'm just going to show how to drag and drop a JPEG. So we have this picture of this lady. I don't know who she is.
That's my mom.
Okay. So you're going to drag and drop it in, and it's just going to be a black and white threshold.
So what does that mean when it's threshold? What has it done here?
So it's just going to be black and white, and it's going to grab that threshold and just change it. So we could play with this threshold and change the output of the laser.
So why would you do a threshold engraving rather than a dithered engraving?
So a threshold engraving is going to be good for logos, solid fill objects, something of that sort, maybe text.
But if you're doing a photo like this, you would want to do what?
You're going to want to dither it. You're going to halftone dither it. That's going to be your best outcome that I've found. And what that's going to do is break it up into dots and different powers. Essentially more dots, less dots, you know, like an old newspaper.
Absolutely.
It's going to change it. And I did bring it in fairly large, so we'll watch this do its magic.
I mean, this is almost 3,000 by 3,500 pixels. That's a pretty big photo.
Yeah.
That's bigger than an 8 by 10.
Yeah.
It really is.
There we go.
There we go.
So she looks great, like an actual photo, and it'll come out looking just like that if you have the right power settings.
Absolutely. And what do you think the most important thing is when doing engraving of a photo, whether you're using RE1 or RE2?
So it's essentially going to be the same. It's going to be your power settings and your DPI setting.
So when you say power settings, what do you mean? Is that the power settings, and when you talk about power, is there a difference between adjusting your power and current?
So you're going to
specifically for these photo engraves. I don't mean to interrupt.
You can slow down the laser head, and it can give you more details if you need that, because it's going to give it more time in that specific area.
What should you do with power and speed if you slow it down for more detail?
What I would do is lower the power, because it's going to give it more time in that given area, and if your power is just as high, slowing it down is going to give it more power and just blow it out.
That makes sense.
So right here is going to be your DPI setting, and that for photos it's going to be best to go 500.
Why is 500 the best option for DPI? Why wouldn't you want to go 250?
250 is just not going to give you enough detail to bring out all those ambiances of faces and something like that. And then 1,000 is just too much. Like it's just too much going on, and it just kind of muddies up photos. So we found that 500 is the best.
Nice. So that's like the nice middle for the photo engrave. Now 1,000 DPI and 250 DPI still have great uses. If you're doing something with not a lot of detail, especially like a simple logo, text, 250 DPI is plenty enough detail to do like that. To give an equivalent, your photos when you print them out are usually about 300 DPI. Can we get a fact check from Brooke in the back? Brooke in the back. That's a from Brooke in the back. So we're talking just a little bit less than photo resolution as far as DPI with a lower engraving. So still very, very detailed.
Still good. Nobody's gonna, get a gift like that and be like, "Oh man,
I can't believe you did only 250 DPI.
Whoa,
take this back." But on the other side, you use 1,000 DPI on intricately designed things. So if you have maybe super small text or very like lace work or things like that.
very thin objects, you're gonna want to do that 1,000 DPI, or else it's gonna not give it enough power in that area. Just dissipate. So that's how it's essentially the same as RE3, just doesn't have the design features, and the UI isn't as pretty. But this thing's a workhorse, and it's tested, it works great. I love it. I use it all the time. It's just very nice and simple.
There's one feature that people ask a lot about. What if I wanted to raster and then cut? Is there a method to do that?
So
it's a little unknown, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be your file itself. So this one, if we go down to the vector tab, there is an outline, and we can actually set those powers right here.
But what if, I guess what I mean is if I wanted to run the raster, then the vector all in one play.
Okay, if you wanted to do so, what you do is pull down here, and then you would go, raster, then vector. And of course it's going to go raster first, then vector. There's no reason to go vector first, then raster. So that's the pull down. So we can have that, and this is just simple bitmaps, JPEGs dropped in. So if we go to a more complex file, we're going to do a print driver file.
Okay, so what would be is that just like printing from to your printer at home?
Yeah, it's going to be the same exact thing.
You actually hit Control P just like you would anywhere else, right?
Yeah, we'll go File, Print, and it's going to pop up. You can see that it's connected to our printer here.
Oh, right, so you don't want to print to the actual paper, you want to go to our engineering driver.
Yeah, and that will send right over to here. And that's from any design software. That's what's really awesome is if you use Illustrator, Inkscape,
Microsoft Word,
yeah,
PowerPoint.
People do use Word to create stuff.
Absolutely, we've seen it before.
Yeah. So you just hit print and then it will send it. Just wait a sec.
And as you can see, there's a reason why we started developing RE2 and why RE3 came out so soon after RE2. Speed and workflow. We wanted to make sure that from your idea in your head to an actual object in your hand, we could minimize the amount of time needed to mess with the laser. We wanted to make sure that your workflow was as slow as possible, as long as it takes. No, we want to make sure that's as quick as possible, and that you're getting right. You want your object out of the laser as soon as possible.
Yeah. Again, this is very simple. This file is actually a vector file. It's got black vectors and red vectors. You can see it over here.
So why did you have two different color vectors there?
So if I wanted to, I could actually take this black and lower the power and just make a vector marking. So I could vector mark that and then actually cut out the red separately. If you don't want to do that, you want to raster this, you will simply raster, set your power settings, and then also you want to look at your black and white threshold, because black and white threshold could possibly pick up if your vector line's red. So you just adjust that threshold so it disappears, and you'll see that the outline
drops.
Yeah.
That's another advantage of using yellow as a vector line, especially when you're doing engraving and a cut. Yellow will drop really quick off the black and white threshold and not lose too much detail in your design.
Yeah, we tend to use red here just because...
For cuts, absolutely.
Yeah, for cuts. We do markings with yellow. Sometimes yellow is difficult for me to see, so I just use red. So, we do have a question.
Oh, what's our question? Coming in. All right, so Donna from Norman, Oklahoma asks, I have bubbles in my laser tube. What am I supposed to do? Bubbles in the laser tube. It's a pretty common problem, actually, and it's not that big a deal, to be honest with you, right?
No, it's super easy.
So you see the water flow of your tube. You can see it. Usually on the Muse, I believe it passes from the right to the left. I think it's on all hobby lasers.
Yeah.
You basically want to just pick up the left side, the direction the water's flowing to, and let the bubbles flow with the water uphill. Basically, those bubbles they'll rise.
Yeah, essentially go out and...
another easy trick is pinching the water tube, right?
Yeah, pinching the water tube and giving it some pulse, and it can get it out if you're too weak to lift the laser.
Yeah, usually just a little bit of turbulence will help out, but you do want those bubbles out of your tube. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but that area of your tube without the water, where the bubbles have set, isn't being cooled. So the temperature difference between those two areas can get enough of a difference that could actually damage and break your tube.
Yeah, my rule of thumb is if it's bigger than your pinky fingertip, then go ahead and flush it out.
Yeah, it's a good rule. Okay, so I guess what we should do now is get right to business and announce a contest winner. Looks like we got a contest winner, yeah. So let's pull up this contest winner, see what we got. How are we gonna get it this week? What's it? Where's it?
Wait for it.
Is it coming? Is it happening?
It's not coming. I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, there it is. Okay, this weekly's contest winner. I can't quite read it down there, and the name is not on any pop-up I have. So there's a winner.
You can read it. You won.
Good job. If you know who this is right here, and you can read it, please tell them.
Michael Crone, right?
Yeah. Michael Crumb, of course. We saw this before. Michael Crumb. Hey, well done. This mandala with the ohm symbol on the inside is absolutely gorgeous. We thought it was just a great project, Michael. Really great job. We'll be reaching out to you this week about your free lens.
I actually think Michael made the checkerboard. He made the checkerboard.
As well?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Very cool, Michael. Oh, that's the right way. Now, it's our first time. Laser Talk. It's our first show.
We're all people.
It's our first show, and we make mistakes. That's what happens. So, Michael Crone, great job on the checkerboard. It's great.
It is cool.
Storage underneath is great. It's well done. Really well done. We're reaching out to you about your prize. Speaking of pirates.
Are we going to talk about it?
Okay, we'd like to actually show you one of our big projects we made for our maker fairs that we go to. We usually attend 2 to 3 maker fairs a year, usually in San Francisco. And where's the last one we went to?
San Diego.
San Diego, another great one on the West Coast. If you haven't been out to a maker fair or support Make Media or Make Magazine, make sure you check those guys out. They are all about the maker culture. They have everything from projects to tips and techniques. They always have giveaways. Their magazines always have great information.
It's like the nerdiest, coolest thing ever.
It is very much the nerdiest thing ever, but I couldn't. It's the
Like,
most
I
fun you
love
could ever
those
have.
guys.
I love it too. It's amazing.
Right.
So everyone, like usually at the maker fairs, Adam Savage does a keynote. There's always different displays and artisans on display. We're usually there. But we made a very special project for it that we'd like to share with you guys and kind of inspire you a little bit about some of our larger laser systems. So we cut this using RE1 a lot and our Pro 48, and this is our Pirate airship, our dirigible. The dirigible. This airship we made mostly from wood. Obviously, you can see some cloth and some other objects on there, some Romark materials, and we actually 3D printed a few of those tires you see on the side. Charles, if you want to pull up that video of the Pirate airship, here it is. We'll just kind of let a little bit of this play, but let's talk a little bit about some of the details that we put on there.
Oh, so much.
So you can see the gold plating there is actually some Romark material that is, I believe it's 1.5 millimeters thick, and it has a gold plate on the outside and black underneath. So Walker was able to engrave past the gold to make it look like there's rivets and those goldish copper platings there that we used around those would be portholes. Yeah, the portholes we used the same thing. So there's a good detailed shot of those portholes. Basically, the way we made the ship was we created the rib structure first, and then built the ship up, basically like you would in a shipyard.
Like a real ship,
like
an
an actual ship.
hull.
Absolutely. So we did the same thing with the balloon as well. If as you notice as the video plays, on all the little details on the railing there, all the little tie downs, the little chalks that are tied off to the handrails, every little flag, all that's laser cut. Different materials, but using mixed mediums like this really gives you an opportunity. Even that leather on the front, obviously the string is not laser cut, nor the post holding up, but all those little steps on the ladder going up are all laser cut. That dowel, we actually did the end laser cut. That little crow's nest up there, all those details are laser cut. The masthead, the figurehead on the front, that crate, all the little treasure chest, all those things are laser cut. And really, I think if more people took on larger projects and decided to use multiple mediums, lasers would become more of a focal point, especially doing large installations.
Oh yeah, you see a lot of people sticking with one thing, and then they kind of pigeonhole themselves in those small projects, and all engrave somebody's name onto something. Like you can do massive, cool things if you want.
I imagine like someplace like the Smithsonian or smaller museums that are doing large displays and this would be a really powerful tool to remake or at least make mock-ups, either small cityscapes, small models of things. Imagine having an actual Zeppelin that exploded over New York in the 30s, having a model of that scale.
Yeah, I always say like you can make anything with the lasers.
Absolutely. I mean, even look at those little cargo ships and little cargo boxes we had there. Just a great project. If you haven't seen the photos of it, you haven't seen some of the things else we've posted, there's plenty of stuff online. If you're interested in making your own Pirate airship, we'll have those files online sometime this year.
Oh, yeah.
I figure in the next 90 days we can figure that out. But we did win a beautiful shiny award at Maker Faire for this event. Actually, I think we've won a blue ribbon at Maker Faire the last 4 Maker Fairs.
I think since we've been here.
Yeah, so if you'd like to see some blue ribbon winning
keep it going.
Project that we can keep rhyming. Come and see us at a Maker Faire. We won't have a Maker Faire until the beginning of December, but we do have a trade show coming up next week. This week, if you're not aware, if you're somehow on Moon or Mars, CES is happening right here in Las Vegas this week. We usually participate in CES. This year's a little bit different with our new deal with Dremel, but we will at 2 other trade shows this month. The first one will be the SHOT Show, which is also here in Las Vegas. We'll be demonstrating our fiber markings, and then Orlando, FETSI. It's our future of education and training in Orlando. So all the educators in America will come into Orlando. Well, not all of them, otherwise what the kids do, there would be no school. But some educators are going to come to Orlando, and we're going to teach them about lasers and show them how we can incorporate lasers into their STEM classrooms. So if you have an educator, a teacher, or anyone going to Orlando for a trade show, make sure they come by our booth and stop by and say hello.
Yeah. We'll be there.
Absolutely. What else do we have? So We do have Retina Engrave 3.0. That is out as beta right now for all Muse users. If you haven't had the newest Muse update, make sure you connect to the internet, and in the top right-hand corner, you'll see a little icon that says RE3, and you just have to click on that, and you'll get popped right over to RE3 for. Go ahead.
Yeah. Now, one thing about that is, if you want to go back to RE2, you favor RE2 just for the transitional phase. You have to just close your browser and then reopen it, and you'll go back to the RE2.
Some browsers actually can hit the back button, and you'll go back to RE1 as well. But you can always connect to RE1 just the same way you normally would, and you'll always get that original RE2 interface.
Yeah.
So then we have an online survey. This is something that we don't take lightly, and we can't thank you enough for how many people have actually gone and taken just 3 or 4 minutes to fill out the survey. It helps so much. We've done so much change from it already. If you have a minute, please just give a few clicks. The link's down below. I promise you read every single response, and we take it for action. That's why RE3 came about so quickly. That's why our integration, our Pro machines happen so fast. If you look at our competitors, if you look at a Universal, a Trotec, and Epilog, the same systems they had 2 years ago,
A bit stagnant.
still right now, they're still saying. If you look at what we offered 2 years ago, all of our machines have been upgraded in the last 2 years.
I mean, they're constantly being upgraded, and I can't even keep up. It's like so much, software, hardware, cameras,
Yeah, so look forward to not only the RE3 coming out soon, but different interfaces for the Pro Series and the 3D scanning cameras on there. Now we're months away from even a prototype on that last part, so don't get too excited. But just know that those type of progressions are coming down the pipeline pretty quickly. All right, so what else we have?
We have the Pro Series sale.
We have a big Pro Series sale going on right now on the 20x12.
20x12, $1,000 off.
Straight up $1,000 off. Now this is a great deal on the Pro Series 20x12. If you are considering a hobby laser but are planning on more of industrial use or opening up a store, the 20x12 Pro is the perfect edition. Has its own stand, Z table. Yeah, you can't go wrong with it. What else we have? Okay, so we still have a few. Basically, we still have a few of the open box Muse that are available. If you're looking to get into a hobby laser and you desperately want to save a few bucks, give our sales guys a call. We have a few things we can help you out with. And then always check out Laser 101. It's always being updated. Brooke adds something to Laser 101 every single day. Either it's an addition to how pretty it is or some asset like Laser 101 gets added to all the time. All these videos show up on Laser 101, as well as Walker's 1 hour builds, all of our free projects, our blogs, our return on investment sheets, our material sample tests. Anything you could need to use a laser, you can typically find it at Laser 101. Be sure you're checking out those assets when you can.
Definitely. I would say the best is probably Walker's projects, but yeah, check out 101.
Walker's projects are pretty good. Speaking of Walker's projects, last thing we're going to talk about is let's get this guy a real challenge. Let's really put this guy to the test. Let's think of the hardest thing Walker could make. And don't be shy about it.
Crazy.
Crazy. Think of something crazy, and we're going to make it.
Appropriate, but crazy.
Why would it be inappropriate?
I don't know.
See where his mind goes immediately, folks. Geez, you got to keep him riled in. All right, so please challenge Walker, put him to the test, see what he's capable of. We have nothing but machines and materials to make it with, so be picky. Be very picky. Be very specific.
Details.
For all of you Alabama Crimson Tide fans out there, make sure you head over to the website, get the free outline for the football helmet. You can throw on any logo on there that you want. The NFL playoffs are in full force. We have 4 awesome games this weekend. I don't remember all the teams, but I'm sure they're all really good and they're all really cool. You can throw those logos on there and get going. To all the
Green Bay Packers,
Georgia Bulldog fans, great season. Sorry about your loss. I'm sure you guys will be back in the championship here real soon. I think that's it for our first edition of Laser Talk.
Yeah.
Give us a little feedback about Laser Talk. If it's something you'd like to see, talk about, a question you'd like to have answered, by all means, ask it. Actually, we have one last-minute question coming in from Eric P. It's about freezing. It's a good time to talk about it.
It is cold.
So it's freezing where I live. Is it okay to add antifreeze to my water chiller?
Yes, antifreeze is okay, but you want to use the specific Dow Frost.
What's special about Dow Frost?
Now, it's not going to eat away the silicone tubing. and it's just good. It's a better less toxic, well, non-toxic.
Now, Dow Frost, it should be known, that's like saying Kleenex or Q-tip. It's a brand name. It's
brand.
from Dow Chemical. It's a glycol substance. I don't remember the exact.
I believe it's a glycol substitute, yeah.
Basically, you can find that in other ways too, but Dow Frost is the most common thing. If you Google DOWFROST, you'll find it immediately. And then once you see the component, you'll obviously find other options you can find around the web if you want to get some sort of generic version. But the Dow Frost we know to work great, and that's the one we suggest people use.
Yep, 30% solution to your water in your chiller.
That's probably the most important part. So as you're putting 1 gallon into your chiller, you should know about a third of that, just under a third, should be the coolant, or sorry, the antifreeze.
Yep.
Okay, I think that's it for this week. We encourage you to always check out the website, always see what we have going on. What are you making this week on the 1 hour build?
So it'll be a cabinet, conversion chart?
So a little addition for the kitchen. So I don't know if you've ever been baking and don't know how many teaspoons are in a cup. Yeah. That's a lot.
I've been doing it for a week. I don't know. Right.
So anyways, Walker has a nice little addition to your kitchen to help out with some of those conversions. I'll be doing that 1 hour build tomorrow. Friday. We'll do that on Friday. If you are in Las Vegas checking out CES, give us a call. Come by the showroom. Come see some of our lasers in the showroom. We'd love to give you a demo or show you what's going on.
Come hang out with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And come say hi to Walker and Nick and the rest of the team behind the scenes that you can't see yet. But until next time, why don't you keep checking us out and
keep making.
All right, we'll see you next time.